Wow. Thank you all so much for being here. This is oh wait. Hold on 1 second. I'm having a Mercury retrograde thing. Hold on. Thank you all for being thank you all for being here. This is the Dark Times Catering opening ceremony. I know some of you have the book. Maybe if you want to put in the chat if you've read the book already or you have it. Oh, cool. It came already. I love that. Good to see you with it. Oh, thank you for having it and bringing it to the experience. Um, yeah, this is a celebration of the book and an opening to the book. And the you've read it a time. Lizzie, the book doula, book advisor says she may have read it a time of two. Some people have it en route. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, thank you for sharing. Finished it last week. Yeah, so the book has started to open and begin to travel through the field, but tonight is really like an opening ceremony because there's an initiation into having you all here. It's a very moving experience to be celebrating with all of you and sitting in this group with all of you for honestly a period of time that was really the worst years of my life and a time that I really would have wanted to hide. And so there's a real initiation into asking, and I'm gonna bring Lizzie on, my advisor, about that because the origin of this book was being in deep pain and actually wanting to hide this period of time in my life and actually wanting to maybe just troubleshoot that, or I don't even know, right? But we go through things that are so vulnerable and so painful that we really don't want to share them. And there's a bridge between going through the real life altering experiences in our life and being willing to let them come out of our body and come into a story, and then actually being willing to uh, share that with other people and in fact ask other people to be part of it. So I wanted to presence that because I think the last 9 years, which is this book is in the timeline line, right? Like the book kind of starts around this time. 2016 is like really the origin of the story, and then a lot of it takes place between 2019 and 2021, which um was not just a disorienting time or a shocking time for myself, obviously. There was a lot going on for everyone. So I really feel like I want to just celebrate the experience of moving from hiding and in pain and repressing into sharing the story, into asking people to gather and be part of it. And I feel like it's really like there's an initiation into like choosing to work with our life in a different way, to do this sort of thing. And I just feel like if you're here, it's also something that I feel like all of us have a story inside of us from this last 9 years, because the last 9 years were very vulnerable, abrupt, shocking. Like there's a lot of grief woven into the collective in the last 9 years. And so it's just been a shocking, vulnerable time. And when we go through things that are unexpected, we have to what I say in the book is Gabe used to say, like, who am I when I don't get what I want, right? We've all had to visit who we are when we don't get what we want in a really big way in this last cycle. And we sometimes don't want to show that side, right? And it's like these are the type of events that we've all been going through that like you don't come back from the same. So I realized when I was sitting with this and like the vulnerability of having an opening ceremony for this book, and like the vulnerability of like now there's just people reading the book who like don't know me, and I didn't know how that was going to land for them. And like actually a funny thing is that I've been um, mailing a lot of these books, and everyone at the post office is reading the book now at my like local post office. So it like started with like I was mailing one out, and it turned and they were like realized that it was my book, and they took money out of the cash register, and the postmaster was like, we're avid readers here, and when we realize someone's mailing out their own book, we always support it. And now everyone at the post, and this is my post office down the street, and so I keep coming in to mail books, and they're like, it's gotten intense. And I said, hey, I know, like I don't, like I didn't know how it would be, but it's been the vulnerability. And I also think like this is actually what we're realizing, like this is how life and community and sharing our art actually works, right? Like it's a choice to get curious and it's a choice to participate with each other. And so I want to thank all of you too, because you really made the choice to be curious and to participate. And that's also why I have that letter to the reader in the beginning, because it is a real journey to read this book, as the post office has been reminding me as they go deeper into the book, right? Like it is a decision to go into some locations. And the reason I get so specific is that my intention is that it brings you to those locations in your own life, and that we can take the last series of years and actually like allow them to become art and allow them to have utility in our life. And so to me, this is like an opening ceremony for me in the book, but it's, I really feel that it's an opening ceremony uh, for all of us and for anything in your life. So that's what we're going to kind of do now, is just kind of like go back into the energy of the years and just connect with your own Dark Times Catering frequency that has been here. And we're going to open to something. So we're going to have an opening ceremony, and we're also going to let something into our heart in a new way. Because, you know, when I look at this myself that's in the book, it's like I had a really hard time having approval and love and excitement as that person. And now I have such a deep appreciation for that version of me. And that version of me got me to like being here. And so I just really wanted to like presence that, and for that to be the transmission we have tonight, is for all of us to kind of uh drop into that, into the reality that like life is long and rich and wide when we actually let ourselves use our whole life. And you know, during these 9 years that have been so vulnerable, this has also really been a time where we got super into sharing through social media. And so there can be a real emphasis on only sharing the highlights or only sharing where it looks like we got it right. And this has been such an unprecedented period of time that there was no way for it to always look like we've got it right over these last several years for anyone. And yeah, and I really think like my dad and my brother and my mom, if you've read the book, it's like there's a lot of emphasis on not overriding and not moving out of the location we're actually in, but actually celebrating and actually being where we are. And that's what makes life long and interesting. Because this actually ended up being a very riveting story, even though it was like a story I could have really used to like stay very closed. And so I just want to drop into the energy from that place. Um, Drop in with all of you to just like feel that and ground. And I'm going to have, I'm going to read a little piece from the book. I'm going to speak to Lizzie a little bit, who was kind of my guide to this experience. My mom is on here somewhere, so I'd love to like have her pop on for a second, but I don't see her at the moment. But maybe she'll, oh, I see her up over there. And I actually also have a short video of my brother that I want to share that's actually from this time 9 years ago, because I think his teaching, it feels really important to have his teaching here too, and his transmission here. So that's kind of what we're gonna do. And I just want to again thank you all so much for being here and for participating and for receiving this. And so when you're ready, you're just going to close your eyes here. Beginning to welcome all of your energy back. And so when I say that, we're going to begin to welcome the energy we might still have at work or in relationships or in other situations or scenarios. With the next several breaths, you're just breathing in all of you to come back to you. We're just going to take a few breaths here. Taking a few more breaths that way, just welcoming all of you back. And as you take a few breaths this way, feeling all of you here, you're just going to feel how much is inside of you, how full you are with energy and emotion and experiences and memories. Just taking a moment to really feel that. How full, how much you hold, how much you've experienced, how much you've received, how many profound moments you've played a role in other people's lives. And just letting your feet really be on the ground and just deeply feeling how much is actually inside of you. And we're just taking a little journey through this cycle that we're beginning to close up. Coming back to this time 9 years ago, fall of 2016, just letting an image, a memory, a feeling, a color come to you, a version of you. Being with that year for a moment. And coming into 2017. You don't have to jog your memory, just walking into 2017, a feeling, a color, a memory, a version of you. Feeling gratitude for that version of you. And then walking into 2018, just seeing a version of you that's there, that wants to remind you of something. Maybe even seeing yourself now embracing 2018 you. And then walking into 2019, feeling something about that year and your life, seeing a version of you. letting that year touch your heart, just staying with that year for a moment. And now with the connection, the reconnection, the strength from 2016, 17, 18, 19, opening the door to 2020 and just feeling yourself in 2020. Taking a moment to touch what that year was like. And we're going to stay in this year for a moment, just feeling a place you could have compassion for the 2020 version of you with the wisdom you have now, 5 years later. A way you can bring 2020 you into your heart. And just take a moment there because that year feels like very far away and for some people almost like it not real. So let's take a moment and really connect with the version of us that encountered things we could have never imagined and had to just make decisions with the information you had and transform your schedule and your life. Just taking a moment to be with 2020 you. And maybe you even want to tell that version of you something from the future. Maybe you want to give them some loving wisdom and appreciation. And when you're ready, now feeling all these versions of you 2016, 17, 18, 19, 20. Oh, you're opening a new door. It's 2021. And just feeling like you can create some more space here coming into the 2021 year and feeling the way you have the space to pay attention from for something from this year that you didn't have in 2021. You actually have the capacity to remember something about this year, to appreciate something about this year, to recognize something. Taking that opportunity now. And maybe telling something to that version of you like, sorry I had to move so fast. We're just trying to get past 2020, but I'm here now and I have the pace and I can hear you. And just letting yourself receive something from that year. And however you're experiencing this meditation right now is perfectly fine. Now feeling the way you can move a little bit more slowly, coming into 2022. Noticing what's lighting up for you around 2022. And maybe allowing a disappointment from 2022 to reveal itself here or remind you. And now you have a few years on 2022, so you have some wisdom and some understanding and maybe can bring some sort of appreciation to that disappointment, compassion, a recognition it wasn't anything you did wrong. Let's stay with 2022 for a moment. Just letting yourself feel something about that year. And letting a forgiveness happen about that year. Hmm. Feeling the shoulders relax as you let something off your shoulders you didn't maybe even know you were carrying. And then when you feel ready, when you feel lighter, you can welcome 2022 to join the rest of these years. And you're just going to open the door to 2023. And before you charge through it, just like stopping and remembering 2023, just letting something come to mind. Whatever you're feeling, whatever comes to mind, that's exactly right, even if it's just relaxation. And there's something you can be proud of now that maybe you kind of didn't even recognize in 2023, but you recognize it now. And so take a moment to just root yourself on, celebrate something. Tell yourself, maybe putting a hand on the heart and the belly, I'm proud of you. There's something I didn't even acknowledge about myself in 2023, and I can acknowledge it right now. I'm proud of myself. And it could be anything. But let yourself receive your own pride and gratitude. Just breathing that in, the frequency of your own pride and gratitude going back to yourself, breathing that in. Exhaling out, beautifully relaxing into the heart, and feel the shoulder blades now coming down, and feel the head feeling more relaxed, and feel how much easier it is to kind of go through life when you recognize, appreciate, and love yourself. When you become your own great friend. And part of friendship is pointing out good things and acknowledging and celebrating and listening. And so feel the way before we leave 2023, you can just reconnect with being your own, maybe best friend, taking a moment to celebrate. And even if you don't remember something to celebrate in 2023, let's just not leave this year before breathing in some gratitude and appreciation for yourself. So just breathe it in. feeling a new level of confidence in your heart and in your capabilities now that you remember that you're pretty badass. And then when you're ready, very gently, gently, gently opening 2024 and letting this be quiet and gentle and noticing that this year has something to give you, but you have to just relax to get to understand it. And so just letting yourself get very quiet and gentle and letting yourself realize something you received from 2024 that maybe you didn't even recognize at the time, but you can receive it now. And it's something subtle and quiet and gentle. Just letting yourself breathe in. Exhaling out. I want you to picture that whatever gentle little thing 2024 is giving you, you're letting it come into the crown of your head and you're letting your mind relax. And you're letting something in 2024 that took a lot of brain power and a lot of rumination, we're going to let it just go right now. Feeling your eyes relax, the face is relaxing. We're letting 2024 become gentle. We're releasing where we ruminated or where something took a lot of our brain power. It's okay to let it go now. And then we're calmly but truly walking into 2025. We're coming back into the year we are still in. And we're just really feeling the truth that we're right where we're supposed to be. Allowing 2025 to be a year that was right. We didn't do anything wrong. We didn't choose wrong. We didn't get it wrong. This is a year that is about completing the cycle of one of the most transformative cycles we'll ever be alive for. And a lot of different things have to happen when we're wrapping up. And see if you can just let that land. You did it right. This is right where you're supposed to be and right how you were supposed to do it. And if it's true that you're right where you need to be, and this is right time, right place, right person, what could you let yourself open up to? And so just letting this sentence naturally finish itself for you. If 2025 happened in the right way for me, and let's really drop into that because that's also the frequency of this book is like finding, allowing things to be right because they're true and it's what happened. And that's how we can move to the next piece. So just like really actually allowing this year to be right. It was a crazy year for most people. It's not been an easy year for most, right? Like, but it doesn't mean it was wrong. And that's when we get to like use our life and enjoy our life and have it feel long and wide and interesting is when like it can be all right. It's all right. It's all right how it happened. And so just letting yourself really come into 2025 as we start to creep into getting into the current moment of November 11th of 2025, but just like really dropping into it being right. How you did it was right. And at the beginning of this year, the Akashic Records told me that 2025 was the year of the earth and that the earth has a plan for us. And this was going to be a year that was less about the plan we have for the earth and more about the plan the earth has for each one of us. And so just relaxing into like, you allowed yourself to receive the plan as you go into a new cycle that's going to require new experiences and new strengths and new capacities, you allowed yourself to receive this plan and it was right for you. And just dropping into that. And as you sit with this year being right, and as we just did a little journey through all the years, just relaxing and allowing one aspect of this cycle we just journeyed through from any one of those years 2016, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, or 25. Just letting one aspect become present for you as a version of you or an experience from this cycle that you actually need to let into your heart as you begin to let go of this 9 year cycle. And so sitting in the rightness that everything's okay and you've done it right. You don't have to be afraid of seeing something that you need to let into your heart. And so just letting a version of you or something that was really challenging in the last few years or this year, just letting it into your heart. Maybe it even feels heartbreaking, and that's okay. Just letting, before we complete this process, just letting yourself be with your heart, feeling yourself come into the present moment with more love and appreciation and forgiveness and compassion and recognition for yourself. And just staying with yourself for another breath. And then as you're ready, coming back into the space, And before we move into the next piece, if there's anyone who wants to share, I'd love to hear like a voice in the room, or if you want to put something in the chat. But the reason I wanted to do that is because that is kind of the process of writing a book like this, is really going back and revisiting times in your life with more curiosity and more compassion, and like with a glance that you can't necessarily have while you're experiencing it, but we can revisit with the wisdom we have now, and actually like have completions and have resolutions. And there's a way that like now this journey lives outside of me with a new type of utility. So I just wanted to kind of bring us there, uh, before uh, I check in with Lizzie. So, anyone want to share anything? It's okay if you don't. Thanks, Nia.
Can I share something, Allie?
Yeah, I'd love that.
Um, I just wanted to say when you were like going through the years, um, I was like, wait, I think you were here. Like you came to visit.
Yeah.
But so I looked at my phone like through photos. It was like September 2016.
Oh,
But
wow.
but then yeah, and then I saw a time when we were here at 2017. Anyways, I was like going through, so that was kind of sweet to think back to that time for both of us. Like,
Yeah.
um, but yeah, I don't know. It was really nice to go through that journey and also yeah, and be like, wow, what the fuck also.
Yeah. Yeah. A
Yeah.
lot's taken place. A lot's
Yeah.
taken place for all of us. Yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
for sure.
Um, yeah. All right. Well, thank you. Thank you all for joining me on that. Um, yeah, and now I just want to, oh, Brenda. Oh, you just have to unmute.
Okay, thank you. That was incredible, Allie. That was an incredible meditation. Thank you so much. And I've been listening to you talk about the 9-year cycle and reading
Yeah.
your emails. And I've really been sitting with that. I'm in a very digestive period right now. So this makes a lot of sense when you were talking about 9 years and 5 years and the way you just took us through every year. Even though I've been writing and digesting, it was incredible to
Wow.
just go through each year like that was really beautiful. And yeah, the gift was just seeing my own devotion to myself through all of it, like how true that really is. So thank you for that beautiful gift.
Oh, you're so welcome. Yeah, I was going to ask you what you saw. And I think that is such a special thing, is like when we actually let ourselves go back and find the art in our life, like we realize just how hard like we've just been in it. We've really stayed with ourselves, I think, more than we realize when we actually get the opportunity to look. So thank you for like acknowledging that, and hopefully other people let themselves see that too. Like, what have you been in devotion to the last 9 years? Because it often looks really different. That's another part of this book, is that being devoted to my spiritual practice and to my this sort of life looked really cool, then it looked not cool, then it looked painful, then it sometimes looks fun again, like it's like really allowing things to look the way they really do, and not rush, not override them or try to reframe them. So, yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. I actually, that brings me to, I want to just have unmute Lizzie Apple. So, Lizzie worked with me on Dark Times Catering for 3 years, which is not a short period of time to do anything really. And I just see 2016, everything changed. Yeah, it really did. And unwind it all and not see it as compounding. I love that, Barbara. I love that to see. Yeah. And this is actually the reason I'm so happy to talk to Lizzie here, is like, after my brother died, like I knew I had a story. I knew there was a story to tell for a long time, and it felt so compounding. Like it's exactly that. it's very hard to revisit a big span of time and to really like understand how you're going to tell a story if you're feeling called to. And I think sometimes we go through things that are so deeply in our body and tissues. And some of you might have found that with some of the years you just visited, that it's like, this year, how am I not going to go into 2026 with the residue of like a heartbreak from 2018, for example, right? It's like there's certain things where we do have to create something with them. And I knew that was true for me. And luckily, Lizzie here on the planet and somebody I know. So, Lizzie, I just wanted to share. I have a couple questions for you that I think will be really supportive to the group, but also like anything you want to share about yourself or about this process.
Hi, everyone. I'm so happy to be here. I'm Lizzie Apple. I formerly Lizzie Vance. I know a few of you on this call. It's so good to see your faces. I want to just echo that thing that Brenda said also, your share, Brenda, about the meditation. Allie, I don't know how you do it every damn time, but like that meditation, like every point on that journey where you were taking us through every year, I was just like struck by a thing that I hadn't seen and was deeply true. And I was just like, how did you know? How did you know? And I suspect many of us had that experience. And I got something in that meditation that I hadn't seen. I'm like, oh my God, it all makes sense. Like the whole 9-year arc, I'm like, oh, I can close out this year with excitement, going like, wait, oh, that's complete.
Mm.
And go into the next year. Anyway.
Wow, thank you for sharing. Well, this is the gift of like having time and space to revisit things.
Yeah.
So,
Totally.
yeah, which is you really, we had a 3-year good time of that.
Good time. Good time.
Yeah. Yeah.
3 years might seem like a long time to people when we talk about any creative project or working with a particular person, an individual person on a project for that long. It might feel like suffocating or overwhelming to think about it. And I remember when Allie came to me to, well, let me back up. I'm not taking clients right now, but I have been in the publishing industry for, if I tell you how long, they'll know how old I am, but close to more than 2 decades. And I also taught writing before that. And it's just words are run through my veins. So I was a ghostwriter for many, many years, and I totally burnt out on that because it turns out it was not true for me to do the work for other people. But what was true for me was to help other people cross the finish line. And there's a lot of people who do what I do in this domain, basically writing coach, but I couldn't do it like any of them. I like compression is off the table. I know from like my own artistic endeavors that the moment you tell somebody they have a really compressed amount of time, they might be able to generate a little bit of energy at the beginning, but most artists, when they're cramming their art into a shape, they will either produce something they don't love or they'll collapse. And so I knew that was off the table. And so when Allie came to me, my containers with people were generally about 18 months. And I was like, I think we're going to need 2 years. And she was like, what? I want to get this done. I want to get this done. And I was like, it might be more than 2 years. She's like, I don't, okay. And
Well,
she
I
had
was like, oh, no problem. I'll just write a trilogy.
right. And she's like, well, I'll show you.
Yeah.
It was really funny. I'm like, okay, cool. And I think the thing that's the most fascinating for me is what emerges, because I did not enter into my relationship with Ali going, I definitely know the book that needs to be told. I had a feeling about what the story was from just what she had shared, but we go on a journey together to discover what it's going to be. It has to be this organic emergence. Otherwise, it's not, it just doesn't grow the right legs and live on its own. Like this is out there on its own now. You don't have to do anything else for it to exist. It's already out there. Anyway, it's always remarkable for me too to go on the journey because I'm surprised, never bored, not one day. And Allie is so funny, you guys. Inside her like deep grief over this thing that, you know, the back of the book says, like, how do you come back from something that you think from losing something you think you can never live without? And she was grieving and also cracking jokes at the same time. Like, this is this narrator, and she's so deeply thoughtful. And I just feel so honored to have gotten to go on this journey with you and to have become your dear friend along the way. It's been such a treasure for me.
Thank you. I love you so much. And I'm so grateful for that experience. And yeah, it just absolutely changed me as a person, and as a writer, and as a everything.
You became
Yeah.
a memoirist. You became a writer. I remember in the very beginning when I was giving you these like little writing assignments between our calls, and we had some real fun doing education training, like what's the difference between writing an article, like how do you touch a heart in your writing, and what do you remember?
Well, the practice that I feel like I want everyone to have that you really gave me was like first getting out some of the
Yeah.
most pivotal scenes. Like, what are some of the most pivotal things that have ever happened to you, that especially ones you've never told anyone? And
Mm-hmm.
then like actually turning them into a descriptive scene
Mm-hmm.
is like a very life-changing experience.
Yeah. Is the prompt that I gave Allie, which I give to all my clients, is you write 100 things. It's like 100 things. I mean, you guys could probably name 25 or 40 right now, but when you really you like kind of run through the top, the skim the fat off the surface, metaphorically, you have to really slow down and realize like, oh, there's actually a lot of subtle, not that sensational, but deeply impactful things that shape your life. And this book is made up a lot of them, because a book is not just the like Fast and the Furious, like we get on this freeway, we get on this freeway, and then it's blah, 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 blah. It's the arc of like, oh, and then when I was 6, this teacher told me that blah 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 blah, or whatever it is. I'm just making this up.
Yeah.
And it's transformative, just the process of excavating.
I want to ask you one question that I also sort of want everyone to have access to, because something very memorable for me is that when I first started working with Lizzie and she gave me that assignment, I actually drafted an apology letter to
Oh
her.
yeah.
And I was like, I'm so sorry to have made you have to read such horribly sad and depressing things. And there's also a journey I think you go on when you're writing a memoir of like, is this very narcissistic? Like, there's a whole thing that happens even just spending so much time of this. But like, that's what I wanted to ask you, because that's also a thread of energy that we're running through tonight, is like, what is the change you see happen for people where they go from writing an apology letter to being like, please everyone, the sales page will be put in the chat. Like, there is a process that happens where obviously, like, people aren't getting my first round of trying to explain these stories, but what do you notice happens for people, if there's anyone here who's interested in like telling their own version of like a personal life story that maybe was really painful and feels like, if it was hard to experience, how could it possibly be something that people could read if it was hard for me to even experience it?
The first way I want to answer that is actually just about the state of mind that is driving the apology. And the state of mind, in my experience, I can't speak for everyone, I'm just speaking from my experience, the state of mind that's driving, like, I'm so sorry you have to read all of this, is actually somebody who's still deeply traumatized and victimized by the events, which is normal at the beginning of the excavation process. What happens inevitably inside of, it's like, I don't know if you guys have ever used like a needle to untangle a necklace, like on a table, if you got like a cluster of metal. And as you start to untangle it and it starts to straighten out, you're like, oh, there it is. And it just kind of becomes this clear, straight line. But before you do the meticulous work of untangling the metal, it feels like a disaster. So I think the most important part is to realize like the process of excavating is healing. And you're basically like presenting the tangle of pain onto the table and taking out your needle and starting very slowly to untangle the metal. And as the metal, this is, I don't know, I was not planning to use this metaphor, but here we
Yeah,
go. We're going to go
go
with
ahead.
it.
Go ahead.
As the metal begins to untangle, the experience of victimization changes to victory. It's like you are now, oh, look what I'm alchemizing. Look at, this doesn't have me by the scruff of the neck anymore. I have it. This is my story. Look what it's almost like your very act of turning it over and unthreading it is taking ownership of it. It sounds cheesy, but it feels like you become the hero of your own story. You become the central figure of your own story, and you're no longer like, oh, this happened to me. You're like, oh, look what I created inside of this horrible set of events. I mean, maybe you're not, whoever I'm talking to isn't going to write a horrible set of events, circumstance, but that was what happened in your life, Allie. Just, it was. And I don't actually remember the rest of the question, so I'm
No,
really...
I think that's it. Like, that is the answer to the question. What really landed with me just now was like, yeah, as you keep gently being with it, and it goes back to like why certain things have to take a long time. And the reality that like we have the time. Like, that's what I really learned from being in a family where people have died relatively young. Some of the best people have died relatively young. It's like they chronologically short, but they lived a long life. Like, they really took the time to create and connect with people and make an impact and like really understand the reality they had been born into and had woven with. And like there actually is time to do it. There's actually no other way to do it but to take our time. This is
What
all
else are you
our
doing?
life.
Yeah,
Our life.
you're here. You might as
Yeah.
well do it.
Yeah. So, well, I just thank you so much. I just like this to me. So I wanted to bring everyone through like a bit of an experience of like the frequency of what it is to create something like this. And then I wanted to, of course, have you share and like just, I have such gratitude and admiration and love, like just I mean, the bottom line is it wouldn't be here without there's times I definitely wanted to dip, as we know, right? Because it was just like, I don't know, this may have gone as long as it can go. And it's just like you always said, it would be very, I'd be very pleased when it was a physical book. And and it's true.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you for sticking with it and really like supporting my art and like in the wisdom now that we can share with anyone who feels called
Yeah.
to
You're welcome.
to take the medal and turn the victim into victory. I love that.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Thank you. Of
Thanks for having me here.
course. Um, and now I just want to mix it up for a minute. I want to see if my mom's available. Gina? Gina Hoffman? Hi. Can you unmute?
I am.
Hello.
Hi.
So this is my mom. So many of you know her because my mom, is a legendary character, even if she wasn't in this book. But she is in this book, and now she's really a legendary character. She's a major part of the book, and like our healing is a major, and our journey that my mom and I took together after all this loss is a major part of the book. I just wanted to check in and first of all, like publicly thank you for this process and just allowing me to like take this journey and create something. My family has typically been rather private about all of these things that have happened.
Right.
In particular, my mom is like not exactly running a Zoom with
Right.
a book that she wrote. So I just want to like thank you so much for allowing me to have this experience.
Well, Allie, I told you when this happened, we all handle things differently. And whatever it is that would get you through such a rough time that you had to go through at such a tender age, I was whatever it was. And that was your story. And nothing, if you're happy, then whatever you needed to say had to be said. If you're happy with the outcome and if it's what helped you get through. And for me too, now that I'm reading it, you're right, private, and I don't talk about it, but it probably is good to share stories with people, even on a personal level. I'm seeing through you that, and we have different ideas of how we communicate with people, and I'm a big communicator, but not on private stories. And you kind of showed me how to do that. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
You're welcome. So
Yeah.
this is something I want to ask you because again, when people are sharing art, so a lot of the art that comes through us has connections to other people in our life. So it's also why I wanted to speak to that to you because if you knew my mom, it would not have seemed like I could have written this, like, I mean, I know you're saying it was like anything I needed to do, but I do
Right.
want to ask you, like, for people maybe who have something to share and are like, I don't know if this person could handle it. Like, uh,
Right.
like I think I gave everyone, I really tried to be very careful and honoring, but like, there's just real things that are real that were as part of this book. What was your experience, if I can ask, like, what was your experience of like that process and what it's like to read a book that you didn't write that is like telling your story?
Uh, well, I went into this book knowing that it was going to be a personal story. And the worst thing that could ever happen in my life and your life already happened.
Yeah.
So, there was no way that um, nothing after that, after the acceptance of what happened in our life, I knew that anything that you were doing, even if I felt a little uncomfortable, was something I could deal with. I think that you don't always know what you can handle. I would have thought it would have been harder, but I actually was very proud of you and the way you expressed yourself, and and even your pain and your most innermost secrets, sort of, which I find hard to do. I think that was something that was um, very personal, and from watching it, I think I learned something about you. From seeing that, which was what someone doesn't realize. You don't necessarily deal with it yourself. You learn about the other person, which is what I was doing.
Mm,
That other person being you, and and hearing the story from your perspective is not exactly the same story that I know. That's how it is. And that's what you learn also, that each person's perspective is different. It's the same story and it's the same outcome, but it's definitely emotionally a little different.
yeah.
So I would just say that as a parent, I can't imagine not just saying whatever for their child, whatever makes you happy and whole, please do it. And if it was about something else, I still think I would tell someone that there is something to be learned from discomfort. You're not always supposed to be comfortable. You have to live in discomfort a little bit. And sometimes that gets you through a place that you didn't know you could deal with. And that's how I feel this was. I didn't know when I was reading it, of course, it was hard to know
Yeah.
certain things about you that I didn't know, or certain hurts that you had that were very painful to know. But I know who you are and how brave you are and how you got through it all and how much help you've been to so many people because of what you did. So that would be my answer. It was a good thing that you did it, and I hope it brought you some closure.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah. I just think I feel lucky, like, for you and Lizzie to both be here. And I just feel like, yeah, I wanted to share that transmission because sometimes it's hard to know how to alchemize things
Yeah,
that impact
yeah,
other people. I would also say that, like, that's why it's good to let something you're creating marinate because there's
yeah,
things I thought needed to be shared that didn't need to be shared,
right.
right?
But I want to just say in something a little another thing, when you started writing this, you were in a different place. So
Right.
even if it was just cathartic, which I thought was maybe what you were doing, that's very important. That's a big part of your life. But as you wrote this, as the years went on and some healing went on and some perspective changed, the book had to change a little, even though it's about a certain period of time and that will never change. Sometimes because it didn't go in print yet, it was necessary to like just revamp a little bit about who you are and how you see things because you could digest them by this point, you know? Yeah.
Yeah. Great point.
Yes,
Thank
no. So I was really glad that when you edited it again, I see that you know, how your maturity and you're just, you know, evolving through a crisis was, you know? Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
Love
Love
you.
you. Ah,
You want to say?
I mean, it's the same time. What does people say? You owe me a Coke, I think.
Yeah.
When I was young. Yeah.
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 Thank you. I
You're
think
welcome.
that felt important.
Yeah. I'm wishing you all the luck and everything with this. Good
Thank,
luck and good feelings.
thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm going to mute you. Yeah. All right. So that was a lot. I think that's a lot of energy and information. So I'm just going to invite us all to just like take a couple breaths here. Um, and I want to just check in like so I just want to tell you what I have left before we complete. I have a small portion of a couple pages of the book I want to read you that feel very relevant to what we're talking about. And I also have a few minutes of a video I found of my brother and I actually at the start of this cycle in 2016. Um, if I do both of those things, it's going to take us more to like 8:30 instead of 8:15. So I just want to share that if people want to need to leave, that's okay. But I just wanted to check in. Are people how are people feeling? I just feel like okay, because I know we're just going to a lot of different locations, so I'm just checking in. Oh, thank you, Moda. Yeah, whatever makes you happy and whole, you need to do it. Moda, I literally thought you were saying that to me about if I should do these two things. So I'll take it as that too. But yeah, right. Like the excerpts. Okay, you thought we were going to 8:30. Okay. So I actually think what I'm feeling is actually going uh to the book before my brother because we kind of just we were with Lizzie, we were with my mom, we went through the frequencies. So I'm gonna just share this part of the book. Um yeah, here it is. And this just kept the book for me is kind of an oracle experience. It really has an energy to it and it really guides me where I'm supposed to go, and then I figure out why, which has been an interesting experience. So tonight I feel like the themes were have really been about like not overriding the things we think we need to edit, and to actually take time to like get curious and compassionate and ultimately fascinated by the parts of our life that we think need to be taken out of the real. And then that creates a longer, wider, richer life where like a lot of great things can happen. And so this was when I checked in with the book, this was the scene that wanted to come up. So if you haven't, and also I'm just assuming everyone knows what the book is about, correct? Right? Like there's no one who doesn't know what the book is about. This is kind of like Lizzie, where I'm like, this is a magical red woman who helped write the book. Like we didn't say like why she would have been doing that. But this is how I am when I introduce myself on things. I never say why it is I'm suddenly doing an energy thing. So yeah, I'm gonna make yes, everyone knows what the book's about. Okay, great. So this is the scene in the book that the book wanted me to share tonight. Is like this time 5 years ago, and I'd come back from LA and I was with Gina, my mom, and I was like, it was COVID, and I just was like felt so stuck and miserable. And COVID for all of us, as we may remember, it was kind of like being a bug in amber. It's like whatever your life was like, it froze you there. And it was pretty hard because I was frozen into like the smallest, weirdest life I had ever had, basically. Like the smallest, saddest, weirdest life I had ever had. Not that it wasn't great that you and I lived together and had that time, Mom, and like obviously it was necessary. You're not offended. I don't know what she's saying, but she gets it. But anyway, so 5 years ago during COVID, I decided to take a sublet in Chicago because I just was so miserable that I was like, I need to just go somewhere where I have good memories, even though it's COVID and no one's going to be around. And so I got this like very crazy apartment that was filled with like weird art and sculptures. It was this guy kept all his stuff from his travels there. And I was trying to force that I could like move back somewhere that had been happy, where I felt really confident and good about myself. And it was so early on into the healing process. It was like I was nowhere near. I'm only now like living in Asheville, really in the next stage of my life, and it's 5 years later. But it was at this time that I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna like try to go back to Chicago. So it's in this moment of the book. That's like what's happening in the book is basically I tried to move back to Chicago during COVID. I'm trying to like not feel how much healing is actually ahead of me. And I'm trying to be somewhere where I remembered being someone else. So that's where we are in the book. So I got into the first night I was there. I'm going to start here. That night, my friends had seen the place and it had a great bathtub, so they knew I would want it. So that night, I filled the tub and sank into the hot water. I opened the Akashic Records and heard, enjoy being in Chicago. You needed the space, but don't try to make this something it's not. You're not moving back here. Then where, I asked. If not here, then where? Florida. I sat up with a splash. Bullshit. How could God-forsaken Florida be where I went next? Beyond the complicated family trips of childhood, it was where Gabe died. It was where I spent the most painful weeks of my life, and yet underneath the instinctive protests, I could feel the truth. Something about the message clicked in as right, although I simply couldn't imagine why. The next week, issues started to surface, revealing how unprepared I was psychologically for moving into an old, quirky, unfamiliar space. The dryer blinked and sputtered like it might catch fire. The place hadn't been properly cleaned. Crumbs and grime lingered with no real cleaning supplies in sight. Could there be lingering COVID, dangerous bacteria? The pillows were aged and stained. And what about the water filter? Was it safe? I replaced the bedding and had a maintenance guy check the dryer. Then I masked up and went to Target for a mop, water filters, cleaning sprays, and towels. When I finally got home, I dropped the bags on the kitchen floor and stared at what my anxiety had deemed necessary for an 8-week stay. I slid down beside them, exasperated with myself. In a Zoom therapy session, I traced the root of the panic and finally named what was happening. The last time I'd moved into a place, rather than out, was when I helped Gabe set up his apartment in Miami. I recalled the same rising fear that I had assumed was about me at the time. Standing in Whole Foods, staring at the blue and black candles, wondering if there was something I could do to stop what I was feeling. My own apartment had been overtaken by mold while I was still recovering from, and now here it was again, that same dread. Could moving in somewhere new kill me? Would this apartment be the one? Gabe had died 9 weeks after moving into his. On the screen, Karen, my therapist, looked over her glasses at me and said, Allie, you're most likely safe, but this move is triggering your nervous system. You're remembering what happened before. Be gentle with yourself, especially with what we're all living through right now. A couple of weeks after my arrival, it was an unseasonably warm night, just warm enough to meet my friends at a bar patio for dinner and drinks, which was the only way people were gathering anyway. I had a salad and 2 old fashions, keeping pace with everyone as we chatted and laughed. For a moment, it was as if no time had passed. I had never left Chicago, nobody had died, the world wasn't in a viral panic, nothing had changed. But then it got late. We parted ways, and I walked back across Chicago Avenue. Warm air swept up dry leaves and sand, and the wind pushed the grit against my face. I closed my eyes and kept walking. The light dinner and heavy drinks no longer sat well, and my buzz gave way to anxiety. My friend Christina called from LA just as I walked in the door. The sound of her voice made my social mask slide off completely. The truth that everything had changed came roaring back into my body. I was not okay, not in a way I just tried to be. The fun of the night was already a distant memory, replaced by a deep sadness. My head throbbed and regret hit me for using alcohol to pretend I was some old version of myself. The cost of that choice revealed itself almost immediately. I hadn't been celebrating. I had been trying to shift my state to seem happier and lighter in front of my friends. Even though I knew they loved me, I felt self-conscious about how different their lives were from mine and about how much I had changed since I last lived here, and not in a good way, I thought. Somehow it all still felt like a failure of my own making. My heavier body and somber personality felt so vulnerable, like something I needed to apologize for. It made me want to hide behind strong cocktails and old jokes. Now, back in the privacy of my own space, I could feel the truth of that. Christina understood more than most. There was no need to pretend or apologize for crying. She had tragically lost her sister in a car accident some years prior. I am so afraid to do this in front of anyone, I said between big gulps of air. I can't let my friends here see this pain. I don't know how I will relate to anyone ever again. She told me about her week and how the night before she'd gone to a party full of strangers. It happened to be on the anniversary of her sister's death. She'd found one person to connect with, and during their conversation, she learned that this woman had also lost her sister. Christina's voice grew quiet and steady. It will be okay. I get it. Other people will get it. You will always be close to someone who can get it, wherever you go. There are a million places that can feel like home. Her words slowed the spinning in my head. I lay on my bed watching the chandelier cast shifting shadows on the wall. I would probably never be in this room again after the sublet ended, but it would still be an important, if temporary, home, a place to hold me and all these feelings for a stretch of time. For now, home would be the places where I could let down the performance and simply be where I was really at. Lying there, I knew it would be a long time before life felt steady or familiar again. I was too sad for the next chapter I thought I should be living, and this sadness wasn't something a person or a place could fix. This was just the process of recovery. So oh, thanks, Lizzie. I just wanted to share that because that sort of feels like the theme. It's like that would not have been a moment I really would have wanted to share. I wanted to be able to have had my brother die tragically the year prior and be able to be like, hey, like, and be able to be fun and like look good and be fun to be around and, you know, and be able to be back into life because I wanted connection. And I didn't think there was a way to have connection when I was in the sort of place I actually was. And so I just wanted to share that because, oh, thank you, James. I love you too. And James Walsh is on the line, who's also a very integral part of this book. I love you so much. I don't know if maybe we'll pop in with you after this, but yeah, I wanted to share that because like actually look at the connection that that moment in my life is creating, you know, and I just I wanted just keep sharing that frequency of like there's a moment in your life that you would not want someone to see that we will all be so blessed by seeing when you're ready to share it. Thank you so much. Yeah, I don't see you. And then, yeah, and then kind of the last thing I want to, well, is James on here? I don't know. James, are you? Oh, James, can I check in with you for a sec? If you can't talk, that's okay too. You can just tell me in the chat. Yeah, so I wanted to share that, and I wanted to just say also that and then I want to share this video of my brother, and then we'll just ground and drop in. Oh, you're at a work thing. Okay, no problem. Yeah, so the other thing I wanted to just share is like this is the way I'm going to be working with this book in 2026. My passion with this book is to find ways for the energy of this book to come back into anyone who's meant to read this into your own life and to begin to alchemize and create these experiences in your own life. And so I am going to be doing a book club with this book that's going to start in January. And it's going to include an Akashic like deep energetic call each month, and a call where we're going to work with the themes and the chapters of the book. So I just wanted to share that. I realized like that that's something we can do together. So you're going to get the information on that when you get the recording. If that's something you might want to do with me, I'm going to start it in January, so you have a little time to get the book. And I'll probably do like a call in December just to gather us for that. So I do just want to share that. And yeah, and then before we complete, I just want to share this this video that also feels very relevant. That was thank you so much, Stephanie. Oh, before I share the video, is there any questions about the book or anything anyone wanted to share? I realized like I didn't leave any room for that. If there's any questions or anything people wanted to share. Oh, I'm excited for you to read it too, Brenda. Okay, so yes, the final thing I want to share, because it also felt important to have Gabe's frequency here. And I feel my dad here too, although I'm not sure we're going to queue up also that, but I'll share a couple things in the recording for all the different frequencies of the family. But Gabe, at this time, at the start of this cycle 9 years ago, Gabe came to visit me in Portland. And it's right where the book starts, where I had just had this really epic breakup. And I was starting this adventure. And it's kind of the same thing like this book. I felt like I didn't have time to be upset or grieve or be out of control. I needed to like, I had a big thing happening with my work at the time, and I was trying to make this move happen. And I really didn't want to feel sad about the life I was leaving. And I really didn't want to like feel grief. And as soon as Gabe got there and visited me, it was like a frozen iceberg melted. And I really came into the truth of like things I needed to feel. And so him and I taught a class together while I was in Portland. And so I'm just going to be sharing a clip from that class. So if I seem a little wacky in it, it's because I had just done an energetic thing with a large group where we moved from ice to water and let some grief move through. But the thing I really wanted to share was what my brother shares in this, because it feels like his energy and his blessing about why we're all gathering. And it was almost like he knew what this 9-year cycle was going to be about. So I'm going to share this video. It's like, yeah, it's going to bring us to the end of our time, and then we'll just ground. And I also just want to say, like, I know this might be emotional, because obviously we know Gabe passed away. Like, I think everyone here does know that or knew Gabe. And it's okay to be emotional if you watch this and this is hard to, and it brings that up. And that's actually like really what he's sharing. Okay. So we're going to just, and so does everyone see the video? We do, yeah? Okay.
This movie. She was not watching it. She was watching me watch it. And I could just feel as I was getting to the end of it, I'm like, I'm just going to be crying. I mean, there was just no.
So he's talking about a movie he always cries when my brother used to love watching movies that made him cry on the plane. So that's how we're starting.
Around it. And it's just one of those experiences for me when I don't know why, but when I'm on a plane, if any of you guys have an insight on that, I would love to know, because I seem to get so much more emotional from movies on planes. But anyway.
Well, I think you're in your own weird little pod when you're on a plane.
You're in, maybe being an Aquarius and I'm in the air somewhere. I don't know. But so I saw this great movie yesterday. It was called Sing Street. And if you guys haven't seen it, it's an excellent movie, and there's a few different messages in there. But one of them is about this older brother and how he has a younger brother, and it's a really awesome movie, and it's a lot of fun and great music, and just look it up. It's from Dublin or something, and I don't know, it's called Sing Street. And one message, and I thought Allie is just the older brother really paves the way, kind of, and then his younger brother is really able, takes his life to a level that the older brother wasn't able to. And it's just this image of this ship that clears space and this other boat that's able to really freely move behind it. And obviously, watching Allie do what she's done has been unbelievable. And in a lot of ways, she's been able to be herself and create these types of videos to where now I follow in her steps, like being on this video for the first time. It's the first time I've been on Facebook Live, and
Cool.
our careers are different. So I thought about that, and there's also a great scene where the young man in it is, there's like this young girl that he's in love with, and she's sort of like the muse, and she's very she motivates him to write songs, and she's very wise and always saying things. And so one of the things she tells him is that your problem is you're not happy being sad. And she says, your problem is you're not happy being sad. So I think that what I felt, from that is, I think, we see happy and sad as opposites very often. But the truth is, being happy is probably not the perfect word for that. But happy can be content, or it can be, a position of allowing, right? Because sad is not the opposite of happy, right? Sad is one of our emotions. And so when we are content with whatever feeling is there, the energy keeps flowing and our emotions keep flowing. So when we're sad, and we are happy, when we allow ourselves to be content being sad, because I think most of us, and a lot of us who are in this conscious journey, are looking to transform and looking a lot of times to escape the emotions that suck, that feel like they're painful. And what I would say in this next week, and for me, and what I even took from that moment in that movie, is really to enjoy them, and what happens. I mean, those cards, the iceberg, and that stuck energy, it's really, has a lot to do with where we go with our story when we're feeling this way. So I feel sad, or I feel emotional, and now I want to get out of that so I can get back to feeling good and happy and excited and manifesting great things and going along on my journey and getting the things done that I need to get done. When that's really me building an unconscious iceberg, right? In that moment, I'm freezing up and I'm resisting what's moving. And, grief and sadness is not what's in our way. It's actually the gateway to whatever is next for us. So if we want to go from one part of our life to the next part, grief is the boat we take there. And if we don't allow that, we end up exactly what, we end up creating exactly what we're trying to avoid. So one of the messages I really took from that was just the importance of allowing grief to just take us from one place to the next, because whatever we're leaving, we're not necessarily leaving something we hate. Sometimes we are, but sometimes we're just moving to something different. And there is a lot to grieve. I mean, just going to the next level of responsibility in our life, going to the next level of success in our life, going to the next level of, achievement or whatever impact, more responsibility. We're letting go of some of our, maybe some carefreeness, or who knows, it's different for all of us. But I think the point is to keep the energy flowing, or to keep our lives flowing, to keep the water flowing, the water element flowing. It's so much about finding our contentment in the place that we're at, and traveling, especially grief, letting grief guide us to the next place, because where we're leaving is not bad, and where we're headed is not necessarily better. It's different, and grief is this necessary bridge. So I would say, in that sense, being happy, being okay with being sad, being okay with being these feelings is going to be the best way to keep energy flowing, to keep the resistance from coming on, to keep this ice from refreezing itself. And it's the joy in our heart, which sometimes just feels like contentment with sadness, that allows these things to flow and allows the fire element to mix with the ice and the water of the kidneys. So that's the message I would share. And that was from this movie. It was a great movie. And I don't know.
Song Street. Book a flight on American Airlines.
It was so random. I think like no one was watching it. And I actually had to go from I had two flights, right? Connecting flights. And I watched them, both of them.
So I just wanted to share that. Just some of you didn't get to meet Gabe, but that's his vibe. And you know, oh, grief, isn't it? Yeah, thank you for sharing what you heard from. Oh, it's the first time you heard his voice. Yeah, he was such a wise sweetie. That's exactly it. He was such a wise sweetie, and he was just such a lovely and funny, and oh, by the way, when I was editing it that last night, obviously I really was emotional, because I so miss him, and I missed like that version of me. There's a different gravity to me now. You can see the carefree thing, and I'm like moving around, and it's like, because Gabe would always ground my energy. So like, I also had just done an energy thing, but it's like, yeah, I missed that version. I'm never going to be that version again, and but I'm this version, and that's good too. And that's the version I need to open to, right? And that really brings us to like, this is the opening ceremony. And so as we're opening all together tonight, and that was this experience, and I just want to say thank you, because it is so special to see him again. I just want to say thank you, because this is really like, this experience is going to be so deeply imprinted with me. I really didn't know what this would be, and I just like feel so much gratitude for all of you that you let me play in the energy, and have this experience with you and take you to some of the locations. And I just wanted to have Gabe's wisdom with us. I'm looking at you, Joanna, because we had some special times, you, me, and Gabe. Really everyone on here, but and yeah, his wisdom, I think, is really going to bring us into this next part. So I just want to ground us. Thank you, Britta. And I also just realized, I understand you may not want to come back on. I realized that I want to give to myself is just taking a picture of the Zoom room. I don't know that I'm going to share it, and if you don't want it to be shared, that's okay. But yeah, if you want to put your book, so I'm going to do the first page, and then I'm going to ground us. If you're okay with putting your camera on, okay. I would love it. Listen, it's 8:30. I get it. There's a lot of red lights on this group. So yeah, 1, 2, 3. That's the first one. And 1, 2, 3. Beautiful. And then I did just take a screenshot. Did I? Wait, hold on. Let me do it again. I'm so sorry, everyone. I'm so sorry. Okay. 1, yes. Now we're doing it right. And 2, beautiful. So yeah, thank you all so much for being here. As I said, I'm going to be doing, hey, Greg and Britta, you're right next to each other, but on different screens. I'm going to be doing a book club. We're going to work with the energies of the book. We're going to work with the frequencies of the Akasha. We're going to work with, I think, Gabe and my dad and maybe some of your ancestors as well. So yeah, I just want to ground us. And if there's anything you want to share you're leaving here with, we'll do that after. So just taking a few breaths here. Letting yourself come back into your heart. Reconnecting with your heart, whatever you brought into your heart before in that process. And then just feeling all of us together in a circular connection, and really feeling the truth of the wisdom, of the unbelievable wisdom that flows through this group, just because we've all lived our lives, of the unbelievable art and creativity and expression that has been created in this group and will be created in this group of people, just because we've been brave enough to feel and to let life impact us. And I know that's true for everyone here, because even just coming to this or even reading this book, You're someone who's willing to let life impact you. And it's a very courageous thing and a very beautiful thing. So just taking a few breaths, really feeling ourselves connected. And then as you exhale out, just letting the energy ground, move through the body, grounding into the earth. Feeling what we've cleared and released. And as you exhale out, letting anything you needed to clear and release be cleared and released. It's done. Feeling the earth already receiving that to repurpose it. And just taking a moment to feel empty and relaxed. And then breathing in and feeling what you've received. Feeling the energy that's within you, feeling what you've reconnected to the art in your own life. Letting yourself feel what you have. You have so much. You have so much inside of you. You have so much to bring into this next year. You're not coming in depleted. You have so much to bring to a new cycle. And it's okay if grief is part of it, as Gabe said, right? Grief, that's why the train is on the book. It's like grief is the boat, grief is the train. The true feelings, and often grief is one of the true feelings, the true feelings and experiences are what get us to where we go next. So just feeling the truth that you are right where you're meant to be, we all are, and we're headed where we're meant to go next. And then I just want to send gratitude to the guides and guardians of the field that always hold with me everything I do. I want to send gratitude to Gabe, who has been very much with me and stepped in during our he's been with me since the meditation. He really was instrumental with that. And I want to just thank him for letting me create art with his life and with his energy and with our relationship. And then just seeing my other ancestors, my grandmothers, and I'm just thanking all of my family. And I'm thanking all of you. I'm so grateful for this experience you co-created with me. And just taking a moment for you to feel gratitude for something. It could be something in this experience, or it could be something in your life. But I always like to seal an experience with gratitude. That is like a blessing. We're blessing ourselves with our gratitude. So just letting yourself feel gratitude. Letting it relax and nourish your body. And we know that the work will continue beyond this time. We're always connected by heart. We know this journey continues. We know that we are open. This was our opening ceremony. We are open for what's next. And for now, we'll breathe back into existence, the door between worlds. The records are closed and this space is complete. And so it is. Thank you all so much. Oh, thank you. Yeah. If there's anything you want to share, you're leaving here with, thank you. It was a really amazing evening for me too. And yeah, I'm here to connect. If you want to connect about the book, I will send out an email to everybody. So it'll, you're going to get some links. I love links, especially anyone who works with me. I'm a link master. So you'll be getting some links. I'm so glad so many of you have enjoyed the book. And yeah, thank you for participating. And I look forward to participating in what's next for everyone here and the art you're creating, which, may be a book, or it may be a life, or it may be something else, but yeah, I'm so glad to be connected. And the book is also available as an ebook. So yeah, I'm going to send a link to it. So the book is available. There's an international ebook, and then Amazon and Apple. So I will send in the recording of this, all the ways you can get the book. It's pretty much everywhere that you might buy a book online. And thank you, Danielle. Yes. And thank you to my mom. If my mom's still on here, I love you, James. Thank you. Thank you, Gabe. Thanks everyone for being here. And yeah. Oh, hi, Elliot. Yeah, good to see you all. Oh, thank you, Mona. I'm so glad we're connected too. Yeah, thank you all. Bye, everyone. How you doing, Mom? I can't unmute you, but
Am I
I'll
unmuted? Am I unmuted?
you're unmuted.
Hi, did a beautiful job, Ellie. I loved that video of you and Gabriel.
Yeah, isn't that good? Sorry
It's
if it was,
amazing.
I was like
Yeah.
hysterical. So if you were crying, I understand.
Well, I just felt him right there, and I just was amazed at the subject matter he was discussing at this time.
No. Or
Yeah.
even that he like always would show me these things that was about the younger sibling moving,
Yes,
it's
I
wild.
know. I know he was a wise, beautiful man, and you could see the impact he left by so many people being still so involved in his life.
Yeah.
So you did a great job. Very proud of you, Allie. I love you.
Thanks. Love you too.
Okay. Good night. I think I may have been in and out of this. I'm not the best technical. We lost you a
You
few
did
times.
great. You did great. But I have a
I did.
recording. It's okay.
I did my best.
All right. I'll check in with you guys after.
Okay, honey. Love you.
Bye. Thank you, Lizzie. Thank you, everyone who is here. Bye. Love you.